guys for coming out today. This is ACM second general meeting. It's about project showcase. So we're gonna have 3 presenters today to present on their projects. So these are things that they worked on, they coded on, and they're gonna show it to us today. Last year I actually was a member and I actually presented on Bitcoin, like a little Bitcoin mining project I did, and that's how I kind of like met everyone and introduced myself to the club. So I think it's a really cool opportunity. So announcements we have, this is this week's agenda. Yesterday we had a leak code session on binary search. Today is obviously the general meeting number 2. Tomorrow we have a competitive programming series. It is from 6 to 8 p.m. at Winston Chung Hall, 127. Thursday we have a workshop series on internships. So on that day you'll learn about internship application lifecycle and how to get prepared. And then Friday, which is really cool, we're gonna have a LinkedIn picture day. So we actually found someone with like a professional camera, and he's gonna take pictures of everyone and hopefully put it on your LinkedIn profile picture. And then lastly, we have the competitive program series from 6 to 8 at Winston Chung Hall 127. And then this is our week 4. So lots of stuff coming up. We have a bit and byte week. So every single day we have something going on. So yeah, if you're interested, take a look at our website. All the information's there.
Hold on real quick, can Josh talk about the bit and byte right now real quick? Yeah, so basically next week we're gonna be not really rushing, but like we have like a bunch of events for our mentor-mentee program, and you'll basically get to meet all of the, if you want to become a mentee, you're gonna meet all the possible mentors, and if you want to be a mentor, you're gonna be all the people that could be your mentees. So we have these 3 events. You don't have to go to all of them. Monday's probably the most important one because it's more one-to-one. You get to meet everyone individually. These are more like panel-based events for mentors to show things off or answer questions and stuff. And can you actually go to the next slide real quick?
Yeah.
So these are some QR codes. If you haven't signed up yet, here's some QR codes to fill out the interest form. And if you want to become a mentor, please become a mentor because we need more mentors. So many people signed up to be mentees already. And you don't have to be like cracked out of your mind to be a mentor. You just have to be someone who can just offer guidance and just be a role model for someone. And that's pretty much it. Thank you.
And then we also have a BeReal sponsorship, and all you have to do for that is download BeReal, add 5 friends, have notifications on, post once, and then we get money. So it's very cool.
Wait, how many people here have BeReal already? Who doesn't have BeReal? Okay, so can you guys actually download it right now?
Download it right now.
Okay. We need money, okay?
Everybody download this app right now.
And then scan the QR code to add your username. Please.
Yeah. I actually downloaded it like a couple days ago. It's pretty cool.
Wait, add your username.
Yeah.
It works.
It's free money. It's free money.
It's free money. It's free money. Money for BeReal.
Data is
All right, yeah, next slide. So if you need access to the ACM Clubroom, contact Divyank. He will get you access for that. Although we have been having trouble with that. Is that right? With like the card access?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll get that fixed as soon as we can. And then Cindy, you want to talk about this one?
Oh, okay, yeah. So this month is the BCOE Match Challenge, where any donations that you donate will be doubled. So if you donate to the Match Challenge, you'll get a Discord role on our Discord, and your name will also be on our website forever, okay? This is a great chance for you to get noticed. So if you're interested in donating, scan the QR code below. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we only have until the 31st. So if you're interested, please sign up on this QR code. And yeah, thank you. All right, so without further ado, let's have the first project come up. Divyank's going to talk about the ACM official website.
Yeah, okay. So as you guys probably have seen our website, today we're going to kind of be going into the technical side of how exactly this website was built, what were some different technologies that we used, and just kind of dive into the entire development process and whatnot. Next slide. All right. Quite a few things to talk about. So first off, we'll go ahead and we'll start off with the development. So how many of us have built websites using any sort of framework or perhaps just regular HTML and CSS? Okay, quite a few of us. And how many of us have used some sort of framework, perhaps like Angular, Vue, React, anything of that sort? Okay, cool. Yeah, so we also built our website using React. However, we did have a framework on top of that called Next.js, which uses React in the backend, but it does provide some optimization that we were kind of able to take advantage of. And the main thing for us was we knew that this site was going to be a static site. So do you guys kind of know what a static site versus a server-side rendered site is? No. No? Okay. Not a problem. So a static site generation, or like SSG as Next.js likes to call it, versus SSR is essentially the difference between, does your website have any sort of backend, right? So for example, in our case, we were only allowed to use frontend, right? Or we were only allowed to use like SSG, right? The reason we were able to, or we were restricted to this was because of of where we were hosting our website, right? So right now, our website is hosted on UCR servers. And as a result, since UCR servers is an educational server, it is a potential point of interest for a lot of hackers. So as a result, there are a lot of security restrictions that we had to keep in mind when developing this website. And SSG versus SSR was definitely one of the highest priority things that we were restricted to. As a result, we were forced to choose SSG. We did lose out on some of the optimizations that SSR provides, for example, most notably being image optimization. So you guys have probably noticed that right now the website is a little bit slow. So we'll go a little bit deeper into that as to how exactly that's a problem, why that's a problem in the first place, and potentially like what are our current solutions for that. Anyone have any questions about kind of like the framework that we used so far? No? Okay, cool. And then in terms of our version control, we use Git and GitHub. I'm pretty sure most of us have heard it or perhaps even used it. Yes? Okay. How many of us have used Git through terminal and not GitHub desktop? GitHub desktop does not count. Okay, there we go. That's more like it. Basically, do you guys know what Git and GitHub actually do, or have we just kind of been using it without any purpose?
Using it without purpose.
There we go. Okay. Good answer. Basically, Git and GitHub, both, they kind of go hand in hand, and they are going to be version control softwares. So for example, when you guys are building large-scale software, there are times when your code will break, right? And it is kind of inevitable, and that's completely okay, right? However, with that being said, you also want to make sure that you try to prevent this process as much as possible. And in the situation that you do break your code, you kind of want to have some sort of fallback method that you're able to ensure that you're able to fix and get your code up and running again, yeah? Okay, yeah. So that's kind of why we decided to use Git and GitHub. There were many other options. There's like GitLab, Bitbucket, and a few other version control softwares. But these are the softwares that you guys are going to be using within your classes too. So it's a great way to just kind of keep everything within like a singular software, as well as since we had a lot of new members, they were also able to learn these new technologies, especially since you guys will be using this directly within CS100. How many of us have taken that class, taking it? Okay, so a lot of freshmen here then, right? So that's going to be a class that you guys will probably be taking maybe spring quarter this year or perhaps fall quarter next year, right? And one of the key things that they really stress in that class is your ability to use Git and GitHub. And it also helps with collaboration, right? When you guys are going to be working in your projects, you guys are going to be collaborating with, perhaps one other developer for your labs or perhaps like 3 other developers for your final projects, right? So in our case, we were working with a development team of, say, I think 8 to 10 people, right? So you can kind of imagine all the types of problems that we would come across, right? When working with multiple developers, right? Perhaps multiple developers wanting to work on the same file, so you end up with merge conflicts. You end up with like whose code is correct, whose code do we submit, things like that, right? So using Git and GitHub, we were kind of able to streamline that entire process, make sure that everybody was able to work separately, but at the same time be able to contribute to kind of like the main branch or kind of to the final product that we're going to be sending out. Yeah? Any questions there? Okay, cool. And then we moved, then we move on to styling. So I think most of us have probably used CSS, right? Or perhaps maybe Bootstrap to help us with, maybe some like navbar components, drop-down menus, things like that, yeah? Okay, so Tailwind CSS kind of builds upon that. Bootstrap is a little bit different, but just for regular CSS. Does someone want to really quickly go through how you would set up some CSS for your project? Well, what is your typical way? Anyone? Yeah, go for it.
You create a CSS file, then you link it into HTML.
Yeah, so it's a two-step process, right? You link some CSS, and then you create a new file, and within that file you have whatever styles you have and then you're able to target the classes and the IDs for whatever elements you have inside of your HTML files. Yeah, and I think that's a pretty standard process for everyone, right? Okay, cool. Yeah. So in our case, originally that was kind of the move that we were going to go for. But with Next.js, they don't allow for any global CSS, right? So what that means is you would have to create modular CSS. So has anyone worked with modules in CSS? No? Okay. Yeah, do you kind of want to? Oh, okay, for sure. Never mind, all good. All right, so modules in CSS basically only target a single file, right? Otherwise, with global CSS, what happens is you're targeting the entire website, and in some cases that can actually break your website, and we did have that, so that's kind of why we moved to Tailwind CSS, where now we were able to use utility classes. Instead of actually creating the CSS, instead what we did is we added various class names that kind of were code words for CSS, right? So for example, to apply a background, instead of saying, like background color, colon, and then the color name, so for example like red, instead we could do that with Tailwind, where we could just put all of this code inside of our HTML, right? So it reduced the overall I guess like code footprint of our website, right? It made it much easier to develop. Yeah, any questions there? Okay, cool. So then we moved on to, we kind of move on to formatting and linting. These kind of go hand in hand. So obviously with different developers, everyone is going to have their own style of coding, right? Some members may prefer to, use perhaps certain types of variable names, right? For example, you may use snake casing, while others may prefer camel casing, right? There may be inconsistencies within, the types of functions or the function headers that you guys are using and whatnot, right? So in order to kind of ensure that everyone was still on the same page, this is kind of where our formatting and linting came in. So formatting is simply just how's your code formatted, right? Are you using the proper amount of spaces, indentation? Are you making sure that your lines aren't too long? Making sure that the code is very readable, things like that, right? And we just use Prettier. I think most of us may have heard of Prettier or perhaps used it. A few of us? Okay, yeah. And then we moved on to linting. Anyone know what linting is?
Is it the squigglies under the editor?
For sure. Okay. Yes, it do be the squigglies under your code, but a more broad description would be it's going to statically analyze your code for any immediate red flags, right? So for example, if you have created a variable, but later on you never used it, right? So things like that, right? It would give you a squiggly like, hey, you've used this variable, but you didn't actually use it, right? So you're kind of just wasting memory here, right? So why don't you just, go ahead, delete it, or maybe, you misspelled something later on when you actually call that variable, or, but basically it's going to tell you like, hey, you need to check this variable here, make sure you use it, or if you don't, remove it, right? So that your code runs as efficiently as possible. And then with that being said, this is also where we kind of had our pre-commit hooks. So there was a ton of CI/CD or like continuous integration / development that was used within our entire development process to ensure that every coder who was pushing code, that they pushed properly formatted code, that they had their code properly linted, and that they fixed any errors. And on top of that, that their project or their branch was able to build successfully, right? So that they were able to actually build the website successfully. Otherwise, what happens is they would be able to push broken code, and then we, as a team, would kind of have to trace where exactly that broken code is, and then fix it, right? And that would obviously slow down our entire development process a lot. So that's kind of why we used Husky to kind of facilitate that process for us. Yeah, cool. And then we kind of touched upon this before. So for hosting and development, as we mentioned before, UCR is hosting our website. So that's why you guys are able to access our website on acm.cs.ucr.edu. So if you guys want to check it out, feel free to check it out. And one of the key things for our project was ensuring that we had a dev and a prod environment, right? Prod just simply stands for production, and dev just stands for development, right? Anyone know why we might want to split two environments? Why not just have one environment that works together? Or like, why not just have a production environment? Why should we use two? Anyone? Yeah.
Well, if you're testing something, you don't want to break the release line. It's like really
Yeah, that's one of the key reasons. And another key reason was this website is now deployed, right? So this website now has end users, right? And if we're deploying unfinished or testing out features while end users are using it, right? And they see those broken features, they're not as likely going to be revisiting your website, right? So to kind of ensure that end users still have a stable version of the website, we made sure that we had both a dev and a prod environment that are both hosted on UCR servers. Yeah. Okay, cool. And then, so I guess some of the challenges that we kind of ran into while developing the project, right? So the biggest challenge was our dynamic calendar events. So if you guys go to the events page on our website, you guys will notice there is a calendar with all the different events that we're going to be hosting throughout the quarter. And right now, since we're not allowed to have any backend, we actually have to hard code all of those events, right? So we have to tell when those events are going to happen, what the descriptions are, things like that, right? We wouldn't be able to pull data from a Google Calendar and send that in directly, right? That's an example of using a backend technology or like backend services, and using UCR servers, we wouldn't be able to do that, yeah? So this was kind of our temporary solution. Later on, once we build out the membership portal, hopefully we want to be able to fix that solution and instead pull from the membership portal. Another big problem that we kind of touched upon earlier was image optimization. So this kind of comes from the fact that we were using SSG versus SSR. Anyone know why images need to be optimized on a website? Yeah.
So the web page doesn't take a very long time to download the files and like load.
Yeah. Yes, and also like images that we were uploading are also very large for the devices they're actually going to be used for, right? So for example, for most of our phones, we might have like 1080p or maybe 1440p displays, right? However, the images that we were uploading were going to be like 4K images, right? And if you try to view a 4K image on your phone, you're not really seeing a 4K image, right? Because you're limited by the pixel count of your phone, right? So at the best, you're viewing a 1080p or 1440p image, right? So this is kind of where image optimization comes in, where you're able to essentially shrink that 4K image into a more viewable size, right? And what happens is that perhaps, say like 1 megabyte picture now becomes say like 500 kilobytes, right? So overall, it's a much smaller image, and as a result, it loads much faster on the actual website, right? So this was one of the things that we kind of missed out on while using SSG. So our kind of current solution that we're in the process of implementing is going to be lazy loading. And what lazy loading does is it only loads the components that you are going to be currently seeing on your website, right? So for example, when you open up the website, you may see like a landing page that says like, welcome to ACM at UCR, right? And as you scroll down, you'll see more and more content, right? So what our solution is going to be is the content that you don't see immediately, we're going to kind of offload that when the site is initially loaded. And then as you scroll, we're going to slowly load everything so that it will appear to load faster. However, really it's just loading as you scroll. Does that kind of make sense? Yeah? Okay, cool. And then the last and biggest conflict that we kind of had no solution for was merge conflicts. So there were situations where we had merge conflicts where two developers kind of worked on the same files, and GitHub didn't know whose code was correct, right? So in situations like those, we just pulled a classic throw away the branch, redo it, and then move on from there. But obviously, something to kind of learn from there is just when you guys are working on your own code, right? Make sure that you place in, either maybe the proper checks, or perhaps you separate your code enough such that you're able to prevent these merge conflicts from happening in the first place. But yeah, with that being said, that's pretty much the that's a very like high overview of the website as to how exactly it was built. If you guys want to check out the GitHub, do you want to pull it up?
Yeah.
Just search up ACM UCR GitHub. The code is hosted for you guys to view. And then go to ACM Hydra. Yeah, so this is all the code for the website. Feel free to look through it, but I guess kind of the main things that you guys will probably be looking for, or something that might seem familiar, is going to be the components and the pages. Those two are where we were writing all of our components. So these are all the different components we had. Do you want to go into the Inspire? Yeah. Yeah. So this is kind of like the code that we have, right? So some of it may seem familiar, right? For those who have worked with HTML, you guys probably recognize like the div tags, p tags, br tags, and the row and columns. Those come from like Bootstrap. But yeah, this is kind of what like the code that we were working with, right? And a lot of it, do keep in mind that a lot of the members who were working on this website, they didn't have any prior experience with Next.js, right? So that was kind of the a like small roadblock that we kind of had, was to kind of get everyone up to speed to ensure that everyone kind of knew what they were doing and that they were able to contribute to this project. Yeah? Okay, yeah. But apart from that, if you guys want to check out the code, feel free. Just go to ACM UCR GitHub and then just go to ACM Hydra, which is kind of the, I guess, like code name that we've put for the website. But yeah, that's pretty much the website. Do you want to share the actual website?
Yeah, we show it.
acm.cs.ucr.edu.
I just typed this.
Don't do that. Go back. That's the website.
What's getting up there?
No. acm.cs.ucr.edu.
Okay.
It's yeah. cs.ucr.edu. Enter. Okay. Yeah, so this is the website. You just scroll through it and then visit the different pages. Yeah, so we have like upcoming events. So you'll see the next 3 events that we have planned out for you guys, and then various projects that we're currently working on. And then you want to go up to the About page. So this is, I don't know if you guys saw that slow loading. That's kind of where image optimization would have helped, but obviously it didn't since we were using SSG. Just some more content about like who we are, you know, what things we provide, why we do it, things like that. And then just some like more images from various events that we've hosted. And then go to board. These are all your board members, right? Yeah, scroll down. Yeah. And then if you go over to events, this is the calendar that I was talking about earlier, right? So here you'll have a calendar layout of all the various events that we'll be hosting. So for example, like today, it do be October 11th, so you can see the project showcase that we have planned out for today. And you'll see all our weekly and monthly events. And if you go to like say the next month, you can also check out future events that we have upcoming in like November and December for you guys as well. And finally, the Join Us section, just some basic FAQ in case you guys are interested about various things about, you know, how to get more involved with ACM, or perhaps you're looking for certain opportunities, how you can get those. And also just a quick description about our ACM Clubroom, and then finally some other student organizations who are also on campus and also are like within the CS field as well. And last but not least, of course, we have our hackathons and our socials down at the bottom. But yeah, that's pretty much our website. In terms of the design and like all of the UI UX stuff, we had, where is she? There she is. We had Ashley design all of it. So anything regarding fonts, colors, how things look, that is all of her job. The developer's job is just to make it happen, I guess. But yeah, that's the ACM website for you guys. Any questions? Alright, cool. And, oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I noticed that like Udemy's programming workshop isn't on there. Like the daily, like Wednesday to Friday, like 6 to 8. Is that like intentional or?
I haven't received a ping about that.
Yeah, it's I'll give you the actual answer. It's a collaboration between CCC and UDA and ACM, but it's mostly a CCC like hosted like workshop.
Any other questions? Yeah.
What font did you use on the website?
Lexin. You can find it on Google Fonts, so it's not anything like too custom. But Lexend is both our title and our text font.
It's also the font for our slides too, so yeah.
Yeah, we've like completely changed to Lexend for everything now. Any other questions?
Alright, let's have our next presenter.
Hello everyone, my name is Kira. I'm one of the developers for UCRclubs.com, which is actually a summer project that ACM collaborated with an alum, a UCR alum on. You may have seen it in the Discord or the Slack. It was ACM and Jumble, and now it's called UCR Clubs. Thank you. So we built it to provide a place for first years and any students to discover clubs on campus. Our goal was using a Discord bot to monitor StudentWorks Discord servers and post any announcements that they make to our website so that you can just scroll through and find any content that you're interested in, any events that you're interested in, and discover clubs that you might want to join. Do we have a lot of first years in here? Awesome. So this might be a place, we especially have CS clubs right now and engineering clubs. The chess club and the Highlander Gaming Club are also on there. So if you're interested, UCRclubs.com. We used several like industry tech services to create the website. To store the actual posts that we get from clubs, we use MongoDB, which is a database service that you can use to store information about like all the posts that we have, all the organizations that we have, and their websites, the descriptions of them, their profile pictures. We also used, we have a way to search for posts, search keywords in the posts that you want to find. And for that, we used an existing service called Algolia, which made it very easy to just copy some code from their website, modify it a little bit to match the style of our website, and they are able to search through all of our data and find the keywords or similar keywords even. It's very cool. We, sorry, very nervous, so many people. Over the summer, we actually spent about 2 months, I think, on it. Is that right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good about that, for sure.
We had daily scrum meetings and roughly weekly sprint meetings, sprint planning meetings, and sprint retros. And if you don't know what that is, Divyank mentioned CS 100, which is a very fun class where you'll learn all about that. It's basically a way to check in with everyone who's working on a project and make sure everyone's like making progress, they're getting any help that they need, any problems they're running into, you can discuss them. And that's one way that you can do that, which is called Scrum, I believe. Yes?
Yeah.
And we used Trello boards to track all the tasks that we had, so that we had like a column for any tasks that we planned to do, which we called our backlog. We also had our in-progress tasks, anything that we had finished, but we wanted all the other developers to review it, which is a pretty important thing, just because like we all make mistakes. It's helpful to have someone else to review your code and maybe find any ways to improve it or clean it up a little bit. We also have an account system, so you can log into our website and follow any clubs that you want to see more regularly. And for that, we used Auth0. It was really helpful to make sure we're not storing like passwords or usernames in our own databases, just to keep everything secure. And on the topic of security, because clubs can basically post directly to our site, it is kind of a security issue, because if they post code that could like attack our site or take over our site, that's not a good thing. We don't want that to happen. We want to like keep control of everything. So we actually use something called DOM Purify to look through anything that's posted, and if they have like HTML code, it will keep track of that. And if it's just like, oh, they want to make their post prettier, make it like bold or italicized, that's completely fine. They can do that on our site. But if it's something like an actual script to attack our site, it will actually remove it. So it's pretty cool to be able to use all of these existing technologies, not build everything from scratch, and keep the site secure. The very cool thing about the CS community at UCR, we actually had a cybersecurity club that I think last Thursday, something like that. They actually tried to attack our site on purpose with our permission. And for about an hour, they tried anything that they thought of. Do we have anyone from cyber here actually? No? Oh, okay. Well, it sounds terrifying. It was moderately terrifying, but it was actually pretty entertaining to watch as well and see how they decided to like go about figuring out what technologies we were using just from looking at the site and figure out any ways that they could get into it. They weren't able to, beyond like blocking our whole site with one post, which is, we should look into that part, but anyway. We also have a way to track who's using our site and how. We're using Google Analytics and Hotjar Analytics, so we can see, it's a little bit creepy, but we can see where your mouse is moving. We can see what you're clicking on, what pages you're looking at, how long you're spending on them, just to make sure we're able to modify it in case like something's not quite intuitive, or see like what features are helpful to people. Like the web development project, we also used Git and GitHub, which Divyank explained, for version control. And this is also something you'll learn about in CS 100, one of my favorite classes, if you can't tell. And yeah.
Yeah. Is there any questions so far about the project?
As far as my understanding of Discord bots go, like you need to have like a server to host the bot on. So I was just wondering how you did that.
Yeah, we actually, our whole team was actually in a Discord server in order to like just communicate about the project. So we kept it in there as well. That's actually where we get all the announcements, like from the servers. We just post it into a channel automatically and then collect it from there. So yeah, just the general server where we communicate is also where we host our Discord bot. And I should mention, it wasn't just me, it was quite a few of us. So me and Nick, do you know how to pronounce his last name, Vince?
Nope.
Okay. Nick and Sid Gupta were the three engineers. Cannon Wu, who's a UCR alum, was our main project advisor. And he's actually a product manager intern, so he's the one who led us in figuring out how to do scrum meetings and sprints. We learned a lot this project. And then we also have Sarah Ramirez, who is our marketing person, and then Vince and the former president, Luca, are our two other advisors. So, yeah. Are there any other questions?
Using the Google Analytics, the Hotjar Analytics, can you see like how the users got to the website, like typing in the URL or clicking on a link?
I believe so. I don't know if we have that turned on, but I'm pretty sure there's a way. Yeah, like to see if it was like directly or like through an email or even through like Twitter or something. There's usually a way to figure that out. Yeah.
Did you guys buy the domain ucrclubs.com?
Yes. Cannon is our project advisor is like paying for everything that needs to be paid for, which is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, talking about that.
I'll just go to the next one.
to attach images that are in Discord, as well as PDFs and other files. We had to modify it a little bit to get all the formatting to show up just as it is in Discord, get links to be clickable. And then here you're able to see the organizations that are on our site. Ordered actually at the top is the most recent post. If anyone is an officer of a club, you're more than welcome to add your club to the website if you have a Discord server. And if you want to create an account on acmclubs.com, you can also follow specific clubs and have them show up on the timeline without anything else that you don't want to see. Yeah. Any other questions? All right, thank you so much.
All right, so now we have our third project.
Hi everyone, I'm the first year and my name is Menthy. And this is a personal project I did in my high school. And in my high school, there's a whole month at the end of my high school. It's like we have time to do our own project, a final senior project, and then we just need to present it to everyone in our school. And my project is to do a game. And next slide, please. This is my game, and maybe we can come back to this later, after I kind of introduce the game. And basically, I made the game by Unity. How many of you guys? It's fine. How many of you guys have experience with Unity? It's a lot. And how many of you guys have made a game before? Yeah, that's a lot. And it's for my showcase today, I didn't put a lot of efforts on the code. Instead of that, I put more effort on my art because I feel like many of you guys already know a lot of coding stuff, and it's a CS club, so I don't need to show more about it. So what I'm more distinguish me among other coders, programmers, is my art. So I just put all my art here. And for my project, I did all the art by myself. So basically I did everything myself except for the music. I don't know how to do music. And yeah, it's next slide please. So this is some progress I have. First, I have a prototype. You can see it's really simple. And in this stage, I just need to make sure that I have the ability to build up the game. I have the ability to make a tower, make a monster, and basically implement the stuff in the game. And in the second stage, I tried to do some art, and I tried to do more coding and to implement more mechanics in the game. But in this stage, you can see the art is so bad. And at this, it's I already decided that I want to use pixel art, but in this stage, there's some problem is you can see, I don't know if you can see it clearly, but every element, they have different pixel size. And for example, the background has way larger pixel than other stuff. And it just looks so weird. So I basically completely do it again from scratch. Next slide, please. And this is what the final project looks like. There's a level selection page, and this is basically level, what does a level look like? And in the version I post on itchy.io, it's the game website, it looks like this. You can only play it in order. After you unlock the first, after you finish the first level, you can go to the second and the third, and until the last one. But it's I have a video about a version that I need to present. It's every level is open, so I can just show you guys every level. And the reason why I did that is because I have 4 towers in my game. For the first 4 level, it adds 1 level, one tower to each level. So in the first level, there's 1, the second level, there's 2, until the 4th level. And the last 4 levels, they have all 4 towers. And it's like, for this game, there's a problem is I cannot organize the difficulties pretty well. So it's just that the very basic tower is the most powerful one. So it just, I need to work on it more, and I need to like improve the code more, but I'm just too lazy to do it. I spend too much time on art, of course. And yeah, maybe I can show you guys the game. Yeah. Oh, by the way, this is the link to my itchy.io. So if you guys want to play it, you can just go to this link. And let me copy and paste. Hopefully it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Oh yeah, it doesn't work on every computer because if you guys work on Unity, you will know there's like a canvas size. Like it will work for different canvas, and I'm too lazy to figure it out. So yeah. If someone knows how to do it, you can teach me. But of course, I'm too lazy to figure out by myself. Yeah, my friend made the music. He's really cool. Yeah. Oh, for this, that's a fake loading page. Because I feel like if there's a loading page, it looks more professional. So it just stays there for 2 seconds. So basically, you just enter a level and start. And it will have an intro for the tower that's going to appear in this level. And after you click on the plus, you can just place the tower. And if you click on the tower, you can upgrade it. And there's 3 levels of towers. Yeah. So basically, this is the game. And I don't want to waste too much time here, so I have another version that I record a video of me playing it. Should I continue it?
Yeah. Well,
maybe more. Oh yeah, there's another mechanic. It's like you can, for these obstacles, you can attack these obstacles, and after you destroy one, you can get more money than killing a monster. And maybe, oh, you can also sell the tower. So let me just sell it, and you can. Yeah, among them. Okay, this is one of my friends. He's like asking me, begging me to add Among Us in the game. So it's like, when I reach the end, it's gonna, of course, it's gonna do something. Yeah. Oh yeah, so you can also get stars. And of course, how many stars you get depends on how many lives you have remained in your tower. I mean, I don't know what's that called, but like the final health bar. Yeah, health bar. And it's like, you can go back to the level, and you can see that you got stars. And it will record here. And if you can also go back to this level and play it again and get more stars, of course. And yeah, I have a video. How can I play? Yeah. I think.
Alright, so yeah, that wraps up all 3 presentations. So what's next is that we have Citrus Hack and Cutie Hack coming up soon. So Cutie Hack is November 5th, 2022, and this is going to be a hybrid event. So some events, or some things will be in person, and some you could just do at home. So I really recommend this if you want to gain experience, you want to network with industry professionals, and you want to build projects to put on your resume. So yeah, put that on your calendar if you like. And follow the socials, it's right here at the bottom. And then also another hack is going on. We have Rose Hack, and this is woman-centric hackathon. This takes place January 14th through 15th, 2023. And it looks like this one's going to be in person, all in person. So if you're interested for this one, the Instagram handle is bottom left. Alright, so yeah, if you guys liked what you heard and saw today, let's keep in touch. Here is all of our socials. So we have the ACM website right here, we have our Discord right here, our Slack, and then our Instagram. So if you're interested, go free to take a picture and then add yourself to it. Yeah, so yeah. Thank you guys for coming. We have a